Hey, what's happening, everybody? Welcome back to The Strange Road. I'm your host, Mikey. And, of course, as always, riding shotgun. Bub, what's happening, man? How are you?
Great.
You ready for this one tonight?
Oh, my goodness. I'm just going to hold back. You know what I mean. I'm just going to hold back.
We want to get right into this because, you know, we've got, and there's a lot to cover. There's a lot to dive into tonight, and we're going to do it all. And let's not waste any time. Let's bring in our next guest. Let's bring in our guest tonight. We have in studio, guys, special guest. She's a mom, nature lover, author, photographer, the 2019 Bigfooter of the Year,
there you
Certified Volunteer Ohio Naturalist, and founder of the Hocking Hills Bigfoot Festival and Conference, and also the founder of Bea Outdoors, Bea Mills. Bea, welcome to The Strange Road. What's happening?
Oh my gosh. Thanks, you guys. It is such an honor to be here. What an outstanding place. Thanks for having me.
Yes, it's an honor. We met you after CryptidCon, I believe, in 2022. Mr. E from Cryptids of the Corn and Jay introduced us to you, and we had some drinks after an event, and that's when we met in person.
That was
and we. It was Frogman Fest.
Frogman.
Was it Frogman
Fest? It was Frogman, because you gave a presentation there at the first year.
Okay, I was about to feel really bad.
Sorry. Oh, my God.
No, you're good.
Right.
Because I was like, I think I remember all that happening.
Together.
There was a lot that happened that year.
It was Frogman Fest. You gave a presentation, and we helped hook up your laptop and PowerPoint, and we got to chatting and said, "Hey, we have the show," and so we've been trying to get this locked in, and you've been busy as heck.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
You got a lot going on.
You're doing.
You've written a book. The new book is Bigfoot Methodology of Madness. So guys, go check this out. You got to go get that. And then also the conference and festival, the Hocking Hills Bigfoot Con. I hear it's amazing.
Oh, thank you.
We got to go this year.
Oh, I hope you do. Our attendance last year was pushing 50,000 people.
What?
Wait, what?
Yes, 50,000. I mean, it was supposed to just be, the conference at Camp Odeaqua. It's a smaller venue, small parking lot. I was looking for something a little bit bigger to accommodate more folks. And so I reached out to the city of Logan because, they have more amenities, and it's still right in the heart of Hocking. Yeah. And I felt like, bringing an event downtown would help the community. And what I expected to be just, maybe 1,000 people, maybe 2,000 folks over 2 days turned into 11.5 the first year.
Whoa.
And so last year absolutely just blew me out of the water. I don't think anybody really expected that, but walking around for those 2 days, I saw nothing but smiles.
That's awesome.
All the kids were out. We had kids games. We had all sorts of stuff.
Do you think it was a lot of word of mouth from that first year to the second year where it kind of, people go, hey, because we kind of experienced that too at Frogman this year of watching that kind of, the first time around, people were like, I didn't even know about it.
It was so much bigger.
It's like a comet going by. You don't even realize it's happening. You're like, what? I need to look up. But that's so cool to see growth like that, and to see engagement and interest, because you do wonder, like, what's the turnout going to be? And then it just, that's shocking. That's great.
It really was, and the community really pulled out, and actually several counties came in and, to support the locals and give back to the, camp and the Children's Museum, help with the theater restoration, which is where our speakers are this year again.
Awesome.
And it was just so much fun. But 2 days, it's free to attend. Just come on down. I got live music. We got tons of activities going on, a Jeep show. Plus, speakers, Jeff Thomas is going to be our MC again. Nice. I haven't even announced this yet.
Oh, hello.
I know. So Jeff Thomas,
just did.
He's coming back as our MC. Cliff Bergman's coming back. Steve Culls. Have you guys met Steve Culls?
No.
The Sasquatch detective.
I have not. No.
From New York.
No.
He's absolutely fantastic.
That's great.
Is he doing most of his research in New York? Because New York's super squatchy.
Yes.
It's so much wilderness upstate.
Yeah, when they say upstate, they mean upstate. They don't mean anywhere close to lights and cities. Like, it gets real wildernessy.
Yeah.
He's fantastic.
That's so cool.
So he goes in the Sasquatch detective, and he actually has a background in law enforcement. Mm-hmm. he debunks these videos.
Yeah.
And all these claims. And he's just fantastic. And then I have the Cryptids of the Corn coming.
Yeah. Hey,
Nice.
shout out.
Love those guys.
Right?
Jay, we're going to get your CDs back to you at that event. Maybe we'll get those CDs back to you.
Oh, he gave those to us.
Jay's
We're
collection.
keeping those.
I don't think that's how it was intended.
Okay, well, too bad, Jay.
He asked me at Frogman about them, and I said, yeah, we still got them.
right there.
They're volunteer. They're
Anyways,
great guys.
we've had them on the show. They're just
A couple times, yeah.
a riot.
Funny dudes.
They absolutely blew me away. They did a sidebar presentation at the conference back in 2022 camp, and they literally took an aquarium. I don't even know where they had this aquarium from. They went down to one of the streams in Hocking.
Justin, yeah, that's what he does.
Came back and did an entire mini presentation
Yeah.
right there on aquatic life, and I'm just like, I was so sold. I was like, wow,
Legit biologist.
oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Got some bona fides there.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And then Lori Wade's coming up. She's absolutely fantastic. She stays under the radar.
Okay.
But that girl, she is out in the field non-stop.
Nice.
And she hosts expeditions and takes you out to some of the squatchiest places in Tennessee, Georgia. Oh my gosh.
That would be cool.
And they're beautiful too. And she's an amazing hostess. But as far as raw knowledge goes and experiences, I am so excited to hear her.
I hear Georgia's off the
fantastic.
hook. Cryptid huntress Jessica Jones is
Georgia.
she does a lot of her research in Georgia, and I think that's where Robbie's from.
I think so.
One of those
I think
guys.
so.
But I've been hearing a lot about Georgia.
Oh yeah, Jeff Thomas is from Georgia too.
Wow,
Is that
what's popping
climate? Is it a preferable area? Reason why? Or I guess I'm asking pointed questions already. But is there I guess you're a Squatch. You can probably hack it. We got stories of the Yeti and Abominable Snowman, and so they kind of seem like they're built for all conditions. But do they have a preferred? You'd think being covered, you'd be like, man, it's kind of hot. It is
Midwest.
Well, Midwest
huge.
would be. I don't know.
Appalachia, I should say.
Well, North Georgia, it's part of the Appalachian Trail.
Yeah.
So you definitely LJ and the northern parts of Georgia. Plenty of room to roam.
Yeah.
Good habitat, good cover. I'm not 100% on what kind of water sources that they have there, but I'm sure being that close to the coast, they should have all sorts of feeders coming out of those mountains to provide, the basics. So, and apparently there's a lot of rattlesnakes.
Yeah.
Okay. Watch
I've
out
heard
for
that
those
too.
bad boys.
What makes it Ohio so? Because a lot of people probably don't know. If we have listeners all over the place now, and I think Ohio has a pretty good reputation for being one of the squatchiest. I think that's pretty well known at this point. But and a lot of other cryptids. We got Dogman. We
People
got
maybe know, but
Defiance. The Defiance Dogman. You have the the Black Panther of Urbana and all these kind of weird things. But the triangle, the Grassman Triangle, which I know you talk a little bit about. But what makes that area just the absolute hotspot?
Which part?
Like just the southern Ohio, the Grassman Triangle region, all of the southern Ohio, as far as from Athens to Logan to the Hocking Hills region. I guess what is the squatchiest place right now?
Oh, right now. Well,
Without giving away too much, if you've got a hot spot, I don't know how much current research you're doing right now too. We don't want to blow your cover.
oh no, that's fine. Yeah. So I would say just anywhere where it's the unglaciated part of Ohio, but even that's not exactly fair because, Ohio consistently ranks between 4th and 5th in the country for sightings.
Yeah.
okay.
So I mean, we compete and outcompete Florida. No offense, Dr. Klein, but we have almost everything here in Ohio. But you want to look for definitely, trees, more rural areas. So when you get to the major metropolitan areas, you're probably not going to have as much of a chance of a sighting.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But there are those kind of key areas over by Dayton, Yellow Springs,
Glen Helen.
yeah.
What's the other park? There's a national park there too.
John Bryant.
John Bryant. Thank you.
Yep. So there's even more historical reports that go north, up towards the what's that river?
The Little Miami and the Miami.
No, keep going up towards Bell Fountain. Mad River.
Mad River. Yeah,
absolutely.
sure.
Yeah.
It's on the way home.
Right? Mad River is actually
We're from out west of Western Ohio, so that's 33. We take it home, go past Mad River and the ski
Going through
mountain.
Indian Lake and all that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, after those tornadoes.
Yeah, right? Stoner
Yeah.
was just showing me that today.
Oh, that
It's
was
crazy.
horrible.
Pretty wild stuff, yeah.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so the Mad River. So you guys know, I heard that the Mad River is one of the coldest rivers in the state, and it actually is home to native trout year round.
Wait, what?
The Mad River.
Can we go fish those?
Yeah.
trout?
Well, that's
That'd be
what
sweet. I'll learn to fly fish out there.
There you go.
apparently it's really good.
Hmm.
So you have that whole Mad River that feeds, and then you have the Miami. And then the places, for anyone listening who has not had a chance to visit John Bryan or Glen Helen, the area looks flat.
It's amazing, but it's not.
It's not flat.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy. Glen Helen's a giant ravine. You can get super lost in there, which I did. Oh yeah, because you got the trails zigzag up two sides of the gully, so you get like really turned around. Once you get down into the gully, and then you have to like start crisscrossing back up to, and we got super lost in there. I mean, and it took probably 2 hours to get out of it. It's huge, and John Bryant's way bigger, and that area is just phenomenal. So I could totally see that. And that's they call it Yellow Springs because they're in Glen Helen. There's an actual really trippy, weird yellow spring.
It's just a natural spring.
It's got like orange clay or whatever you want to call it, and it's a yellow spring.
That's what they look like,
And
though.
it's
If you go out to like
beautiful.
Yellowstone, like those prismatic pools and stuff, because of the colors that come off of I don't know what it is, all the heavy elements or.
It's like iron and
Yeah.
iron oxide. Yeah, it turns
Sulfur.
into iron oxide, sulfur.
Yeah. Reminds me of the South Island of New Zealand, a lot of sulfur smells. They got a lot of hot spring pools down there. I think it's Rotorua. Yeah. You stay in that town anywhere and it smells because there's so much. It's like being at Yellowstone, but there's a city there.
Wow.
It was wild.
I
It was
didn't know
wild.
that.
Yeah. They had like this boardwalk that you could walk out over the top of one, and like it's summer and it's misting because it's so much hotter coming off that even the summer air is cooling it a little bit, and you're like, this is too weird. So that one, and to have one here in Ohio, that's kind of strange.
Yeah, it's a magical area.
Yeah.
Apparently, that's where all the people, all the tribes from all over would meet there, and they would have their huge councils. Like, there's tons of evidence of big, giant gatherings of people with different tools, caches of all kinds of different, art and workmanship that they found, where that was just the spot
Well,
of peace.
maybe it's why it's the city that it is today, or the township, or,
The home of Dave Chappelle.
well, artistic driven, very still,
Yeah.
driven towards, that kind of like natural, just, I love Yellow Springs.
Well,
It's a vibe.
Hocking Hills College has like 3 mounds built on the grounds of the college. That's so weird.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's and then further south you go to the plains, and there's a mound you can actually see from 33.
Oh, yeah. The Wolf Plains. Those are wild.
So yeah, there's a lot of Native American history down there. So
Oh, yeah. But, the Native Americans just taught us how to catch fish and plant corn. And, the story that we gripe about this a lot in our episodes, because we're like, we got such a terrible view, and good reason why. Like, why would they really want to tell us, what occurred and this and that. But yeah, it's kind of sad. Not kind of, it's very sad. But I think the best thing to do for it is to actually talk about it, actually get people aware. Even we talk about this, Serpent Mound, people didn't know about it. We didn't know about it growing up. We never heard of it. We discovered it as adults. And
I didn't know that we had Bigfoot either.
No.
Until the first season of what was the show on History Channel?
Monster Quest.
Yeah, they had an episode from the Salt Fork. Some kind of incident and they were out here at that point, or was that later on? Now, since then, so many places. How many TV shows have been to Ohio?
Oh, a lot.
All of them, right?
Pretty much.
All the big ones. And which ones are you a part of? Were you in
Finding Bigfoot?
You were in Finding Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome. How was that experience?
Oh my gosh, it was. I had helped with town halls the previous year. I think it was 2014 or 15 that they came to the Mohican area. So I helped with the town hall, so that's where I met them. But
Nice.
Actually being on there, that was an absolute trip. They are so much fun.
Awesome.
And Renee couldn't make it for the night that they were at my witness's property, so... It was wild. I'm just standing there and they're like, here's your backpack. I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, well, you're going out on the night ops with us. And I'm like, stop it.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it had like all this gear in it and it was like, had the big camera extending and staring at you. So you have like.
Oh, so it's getting your face as you're walking out.
Right.
Yeah.
And if
All
there's
rigged out like an easy rig.
Yeah.
And the worst part is I felt so bad because I have a hard time controlling my nonverbals.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And I just can't even imagine all the jokes that came when they were looking at that, cutting out just.
Oh, we can't use this for TV. God damn it, B.
Well, and it's like I'm trying to lead the way because, they didn't want to, they wanted to stay on a path. Well, there were no paths. You bushwhacked on this property.
Yeah.
And so it was just like trying to take a whole crew and Matt Moneymaker himself. He got stuck with me. And we're out and trying to haul through a cornfield to get up to the wood line, and it was just
Going through a cornfield sucks rocks.
Oh, that's terrible.
Tall corn?
oh yeah.
No.
That's rough.
Did you have long sleeves on?
Hard to navigate.
And it
too.
itched like crazy walking through that.
I'm country.
Yeah.
Same, but I still don't like going through the cornfields. I mean, even baling hay still always gets like, I don't.
My thing is the spiders that are always at head height that you can't see, and you just walk right into them.
And they're big.
And they have those big yellow and white, crazy looking.
It's called those banana
Those
spiders.
giant webs. Yeah, I'm good on those.
Right. So we had the handy little camera to like kind
Big. That's
Lock it all
cool.
away.
How was the experience?
of. Oh, it was fantastic. We got skunked that night, so I mean there was nothing.
You were sprayed by a skunk?
No, we
Skunked.
skunked.
Sorry, we were talking skunks earlier, and him and his concoction to get skunk out of dog fur. And,
Maybe that's where it came from.
yeah,
It was a bust. How's that?
Yeah.
gotcha.
A property that consistently produced. I mean, all the elements were right. It should have been a good night. So I don't know if it was just too much commotion, too much going on.
Is there like a number of people if you have in a group that's better, worse? Like if you have 3 or 4, it's okay, but you get 6, 7, it starts. Are there rules like this when you go? I've never done anything like this. So I'm going to ask a lot of ignorant questions, but
I love night ops.
right on. In that group, what are you doing? 3, 4? Is it more? Like how many people do you typically want going out and doing you don't want like 20, 30 people out in the woods, right? Like
You can,
you can.
just not together.
You gotta split up.
That's what I'm saying. Like you got a base and then, hey, we're going to go run out and we're going to do a perimeter or something.
So I would say over 5 is too many.
Gotcha.
It's just too much noise. There's too much.
And that's what I'm trying to get at. Yeah.
Too much going on, and for lack of a better word, I'd say too much energy.
Yeah.
Like if you get the team together and you have the testosterone going on, then it's just like, hey. So yeah, smaller groups tend to be a little bit more chill. So my preferred is either 2 or 3, and preferably I like to go out alone.
You are too wild. By yourself?
Yeah.
You aren't catching me out there. I've been watching Stranger Things again. I'm freaked out already. I'm not going out in the woods by myself.
Oh,
really? At night? Mm-hmm. No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Why?
I just, I'm not. What? No. Like, what if that really happens then too?
Well, see, that's the only downside
conundrum
to it, because if you're not ready and you don't record it, it's kind of like the natural born killers who's going to tell the tale.
Right.
yeah.
But
right.
No, I just
It's just you out there to make sure everything's aligned perfectly to even capture anything.
right.
If you have multiple people, at least but I can see why you'd want to go by yourself. Just less distractions. You can hone in and listen.
I get it.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying from in the dark, in the daytime, maybe. Because that's what I would prefer when I was a kid. If I would go down to the creek and I wanted to catch snakes and turtles and crawdads and whatever, I didn't want anybody else with me because you're going to step on the grass wrong and you're going to scare the snake off into the water. I know it because you're not looking like I'm looking. Like I used to teach my nieces and nephews how to do that. Like, one, get your shoes off. We're going barefoot. Your shoes are going to make way too much noise, and like how to step and how to yeah, I get that part, but that's bold at night by yourself.
Oh, it's nice. It's peaceful. It's quiet.
But have you ever gotten spooked when you're out there on any of your solo missions?
Once.
Okay.
Once.
What happened there?
I don't know what it was. I don't think it was Bigfoot though.
Yeah.
But one of the areas that I go to a lot has murder kitties.
Bobcats?
Bobcats and reportedly mountain lions.
Cougars, yeah.
I've heard.
Yeah.
I believe it. We probably have some coming back, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm down in southern Ohio,
Yeah.
and it's just kind of like one of those, I don't think they would be as polite or as discerning as a Bigfoot. So
Yeah.
that was one of those, like, let's make a quick retreat back to my car. Cause
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you saw there was a video of a lady doing a report early in the morning in California. And a mountain lion walks right by her, and she's like, "Oh, I think that's somebody's dog." But the camera light was so bright off the video camera hitting her, she couldn't see what it was. And they're like, "You should double check. That looked like a mountain lion, like that just walked right by you
with the big tail." Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're yeah. That would be scary as hell.
Yeah. Well, I found tracks this year, so I kind of know, and it's not too far from where I live. So
Yeah. When you go out and do that, what are you taking with you? Do you have bear spray with you? Do you take anything as a deterrent or weapons? I mean, I don't want to get too far into your.
I take a pew pew.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I have a Ruger.
Yeah.
It's my best friend.
Hmm?
And yeah. No, that's about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't carry a hiking stick or anything, so I figure if I don't look threatening, maybe. But I just didn't want to take that chance that night because it was dark and I couldn't see much.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But it's so peaceful, though. I mean, and even when you're in small groups, take the time to notice all the little things going on out there, because now going back to the night ops part, how many is too many? There's so much cool stuff to see at night because you have to give yourself about 45 minutes to get your night vision.
Sure.
And then once you get your night vision, don't get your phone back out. Don't have a little glowy watch. Just put it on the inside of your wrist because one of the, oh my gosh, the fireflies in the summer is amazing with stars coming through. Oh my, wow. The sounds that you hear and they're just, it's almost romantic. It's amazing. And it's a whole different world. And if you have good chemistry, in your team, and that just takes time, but in a public event, it's trying to teach that where you can actually listen and then you can hear everything and then you can start seeing things at night. It's a lot more enjoyable. So whether you get Squatch activity or not, at least you can say I had a really good time out there.
You get this amazing night walk, if nothing else. Yeah,
especially those fireflies in southern Ohio.
Those are different.
Crazy.
They're different.
Sync up. Why? What is that?
They're different.
I've never seen any. I've seen where we have firefly. We had lightning bugs where we grew up, but they ain't like that.
These look like they were throwing a rave party. They were like God, it was syncing up, and then they would stop, syncing up, and then they would start back up. And I was like,
"What are they talking to us?"
I just thinking that this happens. It is happening, or is it's actually happening? So I grabbed, I think, you guys, and I was like, "You guys got to come see these fireflies."
Well, the first time we ever saw fireflies like that, Kyle and I at least, and this is, I don't know. Hopefully, I can make this a quick story, but we were heading out to this area outside of Athens, way out in the country at this ranch to go shoot some stuff with this director. We were just wanted to meet this guy and help him out. So we were like, hey, let's get out there the night before. All this flooding, tons of rain, and we're driving back into these hills, and all of a sudden we're probably 15, 20 yards on this back road, and I just get boosh, water up over my headlights, my Pathfinder. Oh God, what do I do? Stoner just says, don't stop driving, pedal to the metal, just keep it going. And we got up on this, those old bridges that go up like this. And so we got to high ground on this bridge, and the whole road was a river. If I would have went forward off that bridge, we would have been done. So all the water's still coming in. It's stopping raining. The water got this close to my door of coming into my car. Well, I thought the car was going to get swept away. So we got out our hammocks and strung them up on the bridge and spent the night on this bridge. And apparently we became legends of Athens County, according to these farmers. Because the next day when the water receded, we showed up at this house and like, how did you guys get here? And we're like, yeah, we just spent the night on the bridge down the road. They're like, what? No, are you kidding me? And all of a sudden this Robert Baldwin looks up over his laptop. He's editing all this video and just looks at us and goes, what? Hold on a second. Tell me this story. Yeah, we got stranded on this bridge. All this water's coming in, and we're in our hammocks, and these lightning bugs start sinking up and putting on this display. And there was 2 cows drowning out in this field. Going crazy. I'm like, dude, please stop. I felt so bad for the cows. Definitely there was a cow drowning. But there's nothing we could do. But the fireflies that night were mind-blowing. And that's the first time I'd seen that. And then Bub and Stone last summer at Serpent Mound, we saw him again.
I'd never seen him.
Wild.
It was too cool.
But yeah, this old farmer, he came up to us later on in the day after we were in between shooting these interviews. And he's like, you the boys that were down there with your hammocks spent the night on the old Miller's Bridge? It's like, yeah, that was us. He's like, boy, you boys just became legends of Athens County. Everybody's calling house to house saying there's these hippies from California down here spending the night on the bridge, sleeping in their hammocks on the bridge. We don't know what happened. Their car's still there, but
hilarious to wake up. You guys are on this bridge and people are honking like, get the hell off the bridge.
Never again will I drive in Southern Ohio in a rainstorm. No. That was dumb.
Yeah, not in Hillies.
That down in where we were, that
caught in a gully.
And also, by the way, when we're driving out there, huge tree goes across the road, and there's a state highway patrol. It's like, hey, if you guys want to, if you can drive around, come on through. And that was the sign from God to just turn around. That giant, I'm like, yeah, we're good. I just
keep on going. That
should have been
truck it.
Oh man. But you get down in those areas and it's like, yeah, there's definitely a Bigfoot or a dogman or something strange could easily live in these remote. I mean, people just don't know about the massive forest we have.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And Wayne National's getting ready to open up their ATV trails. And I love the reports coming in from the riders.
Wow, really?
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You tell.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't been to Wayne National Forest in quite a while.
It's actually, the one I'm talking about is in Athens County.
Oh.
Yeah, right there off the Door Run Trail.
I don't know this. Okay.
Yep. Well, the trail's closed during the winter. So we've had enough reports just from locals, hikers, and then the ATVers in this region. It's tens of thousands of acres, and it's all closed all winter. So what a great place to hang out. So then when the riders start, April 6th, I think, first weekend of April. Oh, it's just going to be balls out. And that's usually when we get a increase in reports.
What kind of reports? just sightings or full-on encounters or interactions of any kind?
Normally sightings.
Just a sighting. And
which is okay.
Sure, absolutely.
Well, they're not pros out there. You know, they're just probably getting glimpses of stuff as they're driving through the forest. And then are some people stopping and like going, or are they just, let's get the hell out of here?
The majority, they just left.
Yeah.
They just kept riding. Just like, hey, just wanted to let you know.
Yeah.
We're coming around a corner and saw this thing standing there. And
Wow.
it was just like, cool. I was like, would you mind putting it on the map for me? Well, we are about here.
Amazing.
Like, okay, thanks.
Awesome. And how do they get a line to you?
Oh, I'm available on the BFRO.
Yeah.
And
so
then
the writers,
Be Outdoors.
they've gotten
There you go.
kind of out, the word's gotten out, the writers know where to contact you. That's awesome.
I'm trying. It's a huge network.
Right.
I mean, back before, Southern Ohio grew up a little bit, the locals would tell you that they could ride 100 miles
Really?
and not have to stop or get on a main road, and that they'd always just carry a extra, little tank of gas for
Sure.
their bike, and they just, that's just how it was.
That's awesome. That would be so much fun. Like just be out in the woods trucking for that long that you almost need a gas station out there to refill because it's got that much run. Like that's cool.
And what did the federal government just shut down a lot of those trails when it became Wayne National Forest, and they opening up
These
now?
are two different. She said it's not Wayne National Forest. This is right.
Part of it's Wayne.
Okay.
The trails that are opening them up in April, that's Wayne National.
Oh, okay.
But
I'm sorry.
The surrounding communities like New Straitsville, Nelsonville, New Straitsville's ATV friendly, New Lexington's ATV friendly. I think Nelsonville's working on it. So it's like that whole corridor, because there's actually two sections of the Wayne National. So there is the Athens portion, and then I believe it's
Amesville? No,
it's further south than that. It's
Okay.
kind of along the Ohio River. I really want to say it's I'm trying to think.
There's a couple little towns around there.
Maybe Meigs County.
Yeah.
Meigs County it's down by
That's super
close to-
squatchy down there. Right by the Ohio River.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that's so cool. They have those big granite rock outcrops.
Why? What's down there?
Well, that's where that farmer.
Tell us.
But you
No,
remember the
stop.
farmer,
Yeah, I
correct?
want to hear what she's saying though.
I
She's
know.
the one saying to be careful. Why?
Oh, the locals.
Oh, the locals. Well, that's where all the
There you go.
good weed was grown back in the day. And there were some interesting characters that ran all that.
Always mind the locals.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to be in somebody's private property.
This is what you mean. Be careful of where you're going down there.
Oh, very much so.
What do you think? I mean, just even if you're obviously trying to not go on private property or something, but even beyond that, is there like a code of conduct, is what you're saying? Or
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's how you get shot.
Yeah.
Don't trespass.
No, I'm not saying that.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
saying outside of anything short of trespassing on somebody's yard, though. I'm saying like if you're just like, I'm just driving this local public street, I'm driving into this park, is it still in that sense, or is it just more of like respect the privacy of the locals?
Oh, no. You can
you're
drive
Bigfooting.
anywhere you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't know if there was like
Yeah.
a whole like
Oh, no.
unwritten like like what's that show called with Jason Bateman when he gets into the
Ozarks.
Yeah, something like Ozarks where it's like there's a gatekeeper of the community of even searching down there.
No.
So okay,
No, it's not like
that was my question more or less. Sorry.
Yeah, it's just ill-advised to trespass in Southern Ohio.
Fair point.
Some people do, and they get shot at.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you remember that report? What I was talking about was the report
Yeah.
of the sheriff showing up, and the horse had been completely
Like drug
torn apart,
out of
right?
the building.
Oh,
was
just
that?
the
It
one
was like
just
a year
recently?
or two ago.
Yeah, it was like in early 2023.
Was that Meigs County?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, that was Meigs County.
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah. That looked more like cat sign from everything I read.
Really? But dragging a horse out?
Uh-huh.
A mountain
Should be a
lion will
mountain
drag
lion.
a horse out.
Mm-hmm.
Shut up.
Damn.
Really? That's terrifying.
Serious straight.
Nope, I'm good. I'm not playing with that kitty.
Murder kitty.
I used to hike the fire trails by myself in California until I saw a sign that said "Watch out for pumas," and I'd walk with headphones in. I was a walking lunch, literally.
Yeah.
I would have never heard it. They could have just walked up and been like, it could have like swatted at me and pantomimed behind me, listening to the Beatles.
We were hiking in Sedona and saw mountain lion
paw prints
fresh in the snow, fresh paw prints in the snow. I'm like, these are fresh, and this thing's ahead of us probably.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And we got to one of the
so silent though
weirdest canyons I've ever been to. We got at the end of this canyon, all the way down this corridor, and at the end, this guy was like, "Yeah, if you go out there and you just kind of sit and be still, all the birds will just come and sit down beside you." And we're like, "What? Okay." So we did that, and all of a sudden, and it got dead silent. Like you could hear a pin drop in this canyon, and all of a sudden, slowly, all these birds sat around us.
That's cool.
Yeah, we're a really strange place. But yeah, that's cats like that. Whew.
No, thank you. No. The murder kitty. That's so funny.
Murder kitty.
The day I saw that sign on the trail hiking too, I met a guy who was road biking, right? Like up this. It ended at like a military installation at the top of the hill. I can't remember where I was in California, actually, near San Jose. And this guy was on the road, and I said, "Hey, real quick question. Have you ever seen a mountain lion out here?" "Oh, yeah." It's like I was taking the fire trail home one time. I mountain bike too, and he goes, "I was on it," and I was like, "Man, that's a big dog." And the tail, that iconic kind of like question mark big loopy tail. He said he saw that, and I was like, "What'd you do?" He's like, "I jumped up on the pegs and like made myself really big and just started screaming at it, and it just was like patted its way off the trail." I was like, "Okay, see you later."
Bounced out.
Yeah, started putting 2 and 2 together real quick. Like take headphones out, be alert, and don't hike alone anymore. Yeah, I was like, I don't want to be a Yahoo headline, Yahoo News.
Just an ounce of prevention. So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. A lot of people sent me that article that came in. And said,
I bet.
"What do you think?" And I'm like, no. There's really actually. I mean, we don't actually have any good evidence to support that kind of a Bigfoot behavior.
Yeah. We thought it was Dogman related.
I wouldn't say Bigfoot. Yeah.
That's what we were thinking.
I wouldn't have thought it was Bigfoot.
I would go with a Dogman before a Bigfoot.
Right.
That's what we were theorizing.
But
man, what if this is a Dogman?
What?
Because we got him in Ohio. Michigan and Ohio are huge Dogman hotspots.
Actually, I've taken reports out of Perry County too.
Yeah. Dogman.
Mm-hmm.
With regards to Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And we've asked other people this as well. I don't know what your research history or beliefs on it are, or encounters, what have you, but is there like a spectrum of Bigfoot? Just like there's a spectrum of humanity, if you will, right? Or a spectrum of dogs, or, are there different variations of, or that's just there's one Sasquatch and they all look like this, or, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like there's birds, but there's all kinds of birds, and there's lizards, and there's all kinds of lizards.
Some of them seem to be more animalistic or maybe human.
Right.
That's what's weird to me.
Yeah, and those kind of reports I find fascinating because someone took the time to put those reports together and create like a behavior almost for them, which is something that I had the privilege of doing during this investigation that I had. But yeah, exactly. For example, like the skunk apes down in Florida tend to be smaller, shorter, and a lot more aggressive. Then you have the ones like the Ozarks. They seem to be louder, a little bit more aggressive, I guess. Kentucky Squatches seem to be super chill.
I want to hang out there.
Yeah.
I want to hang out with the Kentucky Squatch.
I mean, they even named a Sasquatch there Mr. Howdy.
I dig that.
Because apparently, I can't remember what park it is that these hikers see him at.
Yeah.
I guess more frequently than not. And he just puts up his hand and just...
That's awesome.
Kind of walks on. So they call him Mr. Howdy. And Big Mo, just big, hulking, but super chill. Ohio Sasquatches, they're kind of like our weather.
Hit or miss.
Hot and cold.
Yeah. The northern ones seem to be a little bit more irritable.
Like Cuyahoga Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you pegged that one. And then the southern Ohio Squatches seem to be just a bit more relaxed and laid back. As far as like here, and I say this to qualify like the reports that come in, are they being aggressive? Are they throwing things? Are they bluff charging? Are they,
Right.
screaming at you? Or are they just watching? Or are they trying to get away? Or so trying to put those patterns together. But yeah. So spectrum, absolutely, and it seems to be, I guess, like territory.
Yeah.
More so than
Kind of like tribal or groups, or like maybe like orcas, right? Like they go in pods together, and there's pods of killer whales that never talk to other pods, and they have different hunting techniques, and
Now that would be cool if we could have some more information on that.
Wouldn't that be wild? So that's what was going to be a follow-up question though too, is like, so going out and you're researching and looking, is it just the fact that there's so much space for a potential Bigfoot to be? But I'm thinking they don't have to, I guess that's my assumption. But you would think there's like a home, a nest, a spot, a cave dwelling, is that fair to say, or is that assumptive just because that's what we do, as we have a house and we live in it, or an apartment or whatever we're doing, but are they just migrating? Or are they?
That's a good question. Yeah, they moving around.
Because people are looking for them. You'd think, hey man, and I know there's structures that are found and things like that, and trees kind of like knocked over and piled up and made, into kind of cross structures and stuff. But I don't know that I've ever heard a definitive, like, this is an actual habitat, or, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I love this question.
Yeah.
I do. Because there's no true answer.
Right.
But what I will say about it is, so structures, maybe not. I think they're more opportunists, especially like, for example, pine trees in the winter, wind cover, the ground's soft, and there's that nice canopy year round.
Oh, sure.
Mm-hmm.
So in the wintertime, I go hit the pines. And then as far as like a territory or a pattern or a circle, I absolutely believe that. That's my theory, is that they have, like bears have a range.
Right.
They can go up to like 100 miles. If a Sasquatch can walk on two legs like we can and cross a 2-lane country road in 3 steps, what kind of endurance does that, the Bigfoot have? How far could it get to if it needed to? Exactly.
And they can run up the side of mountains.
Right.
Like nothing.
Marathon runners can run, 26 miles in, oh my gosh, ridiculous small amount of time. So,
right.
And they're only probably 5'8", 5'9", 5'10", and 160 pounds. So, one of the things that I like to look for when trying to figure out what's going on with a certain group is listen to the reports, go look for the reports, do some homework. I like to, and it's in my book, is get out a map. Just an honest to goodness map. So there are things that I look for when either there's a known sighting or if I'm trying to find a new area. And this is where I kind of nerd out. Sorry.
Please do.
So, and actually, if you want, I can flip to the slides.
I was going to say, we're kind of getting in the territory of some of the stuff that you brought. Guys, Bea has parts of her presentation and some evidence and some really cool stuff that she's going to show us. So I would love to jump into this. Let's do it.
All right. If I can figure this thing out. Then.
Yeah. So down is up.
Down is up.
The down button is advance.
Okay.
Sorry.
Forward.
All right. We're just going to skip all
Rello
that.
just puked.
What?
He He just threw up a little bit over there, and I was like, "What is that noise?" Because I have such a sensitivity to it. Because if my dog does it,
I can hear him doing something.
I wake up immediately because I'm like, "There's no way you're puking on my bed." He's good.
Poor
I put some food out there for him, so I apologize terribly. I didn't mean to jump up.
Put more food out so he throws up.
Well, no, I mean his stomach might be that he doesn't have enough. Maybe he's hungry.
Yeah.
I fed him. I fed him around 5. But anyways,
Anywho,
Is he okay?
oh, he's great. He's right back here.
he's good.
Oh, okay.
I just heard him over there going, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, jeez.
Oh man.
So,
The bro zone always has
hey, it's never a dull
something right
moment.
around the corner.
Love it.
Okay, here we go. We're gonna hop into some of this stuff.
All right.
Me, nerd.
I am a self-proclaimed nerd, and I will own it all
Hell yeah.
day.
Rock it.
So if I can find the screen that I want.
No worries.
So this is Ohio, clearly. What I love about this map, and I use it for all my presentations, is it shows not only the glaciated portion, which is on the northwest part of the state, but it also shows the unglaciated portion, which goes from the top right down towards Cincinnati. But it also shows the waterways.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're gonna go look for a Bigfoot and you're trying to find that range or that territory, you definitely have to find the water.
Sure. Makes sense.
Going back to the spectrum thing real quick, are there different camps to Bigfoot? Absolutely. There are. In addition to the behavioral types, there is also, because we can't prove anything otherwise, is it even flesh and blood? So.
Wow. I like that you went there already.
All right.
I'm down with that part.
I'm just going to go ahead.
You're open-minded to that or not?
You know, until there is actually a specimen found.
Who knows?
The jury's out.
And that's a great way to be, too, because there's a lot of people, again.
I'm open to it all.
You can't say that. It's like, who knows?
Can't deny some of the... There's orbs, and then all of a sudden there's a Bigfoot. There's UFO, like the one in Lima we talk about, the Predator Bigfoot. And
with Bruce Maccabee?
There's the UFO encounter that's right down the road at the Lima football field.
The Predator Bigfoot.
You know, that's one of my favorite. We talk about that all the time.
Chewbacca was in Star Wars.
Right.
There you go.
I mean, I'm
going to say it, soft disclosure.
In a galaxy far, far away.
Right.
They're interdimensional
right
beings.
Here.
You know, the gentleman, the Kawana, I always forget his name. We had a chance we actually met his ex-wife, Kelly Butterfly. Shout out to her. She does the Psychic Sasquatch Festival.
Oh, okay.
In Seattle, in upstate Washington area. But, you know, I'd heard, I never got a chance to read Psychic Sasquatch, but I always thought that was fascinating. That guy's story is interesting. You know, it started off with these things kind of coming up to the ridgeline of his house. And eventually he would set some things out. It started off very normal.
I don't know if I can go Psychic Sasquatch.
And then he was basically started to like meditate and connect with them and be able to communicate with them and being shown all these different things. And they're kind of like downloading him with information. So it gets pretty out there. But I'm like, man, how cool that would be if that was something that these things were capable of, that there's some other... But it's also like, it's just as cool if they are flesh and blood, and that's all they are. That's just as cool.
I'm fine if it's just a Sasquatch. I don't. Yeah.
Let's just
that's fine.
Find out what it is.
Right.
But you're open to it? Some of the more alternative theories, or no?
I think I would be doing a disservice to the subject by being closed-minded.
Yeah.
So I will listen. To anything, but. I have my own set of
beliefs. Yeah, sure.
Beliefs.
But yours is based off evidence, which is what you have, you know, you're kind of showing what you're showing, and this is what we're capturing. And to try to expand on that, you know, and try to get some sort of other theory based off of what, you know, unless you're out there in the woods and you're having all these mystical experiences with orbs and UFOs and Bigfoots. And I don't know if you've ever had an experience like that. You have.
I don't think they're related.
Okay.
You know, life's strange and people are weird. Yeah. So.
Yep.
True.
Yep.
There's a lot of things I can't explain, but that's kind of the fun of it, you know? So
Yeah.
everything's a best guess. Everything's a postulation. You know, everything is just, I try to put things into like a scientific method almost. You know, come up with my hypothesis. This is what I think. Let's see if I can find, evidence to support or disprove it.
Well, and that's where sometimes I think people want things to be, and they'll make those gaps and they'll make them connect and stuff. And that's why even like
me,
I'm sitting there, right, but I'm sitting there thinking like, but I just had to think like, I can't go with psychic Sasquatch, but I can get down with a Sasquatch flying a spaceship or something. Being on a UFO. So that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. I was like, I just said Chewbacca, you know, Chewie.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying like, so I have to realize that I'm going and saying, yeah, maybe orbs like make Sasquatch pop out of another dimension. And then I go, but they can't be psychic or telepathic. That's where I think she's saying like, you can have your own, like I might not think they're telepathic and I think they may, you know, fly a UFO around or something. But until that, you know, rubber meets the road of we either get a real, hey, undeniable sighting where people are like, okay, that video or this or that is 100% confirmation.
I don't think video is ever going to be treated as evidence anymore. Do you? With the faking of with AI and all these things, I mean, that's maybe a different conversation.
That's a big conversation.
But I think it's tough. I like your audio recordings, which we're going to get into. I think that's some of the most compelling stuff is some of the audio recordings that we've heard over the years.
I do like the audio.
You've got some good ones. Ooh.
You do, yeah.
And then there's that guy sitting on the coffee table.
Yeah, do we want to talk about that?
Nah. Nah. I'm going to go back to nerding out.
Let's
go for it.
Let's
go
do
for
it.
it.
So, you guide the ship.
So I'm of the flesh and blood camp. If there's a camp.
Okay.
I've had the good fortune of seeing this thing 4 times.
Wow.
So I believe that it's a relic hominid. I'm not really going with the Gigantopithecus.
Yeah, I don't really feel that either.
I think that somewhere billions of years ago or whatever, something split, and I think they're a lot more like us than we give them credit for.
Denisovans or the orang pandec or what's the Homo floresiensis
missing link.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Their behaviors were just so uncannily normal. They weren't like weird. They weren't necessarily animalistic. Some of the movements were, but as far as like just the overall general behavior, it was just like, huh. So yeah, go sit by yourself.
Or were they just observing you?
No.
You stumble upon them?
No, it was over the course of years. Okay. But the 4 times I got to see them were in different locations. Only one of them was related to the property. But through the evidence that I would find in the field on the property, the audio data, and then the casts and tracks, and then the ancillary reports from the region, kind of built my case. They built my profile card for these Sasquatches there. So
cool.
I took all the bits and pieces. Like for example, there was we call it like a flap. If there's a hole bush.
Yeah.
So this was like a mini flap. One late winter, early spring, and my favorite one was there was these 4 gentlemen down there, and they were all out in the backyard and nice big piece of property, and they saw 2 females with 2 kids.
Oh.
And they said the kids look like twins, but then there's 2 females. So there's 4 squatches.
Wow.
And it wasn't just seen by them. It was also seen by another lady who was just down the road earlier. So, and then listening to the vocalizations, even the property owner was like, well, that's the big one. Because they lived this. I mean, this was their waking nightmare for years.
Whoa.
So he was like, that's the big one. And it was clearly an alpha male. I mean, when you heard it, because I got to hear it firsthand, and the first time I heard it, I started crying because it was like, I heard it through my recorder, but I hadn't heard it personally, and it was like being I got to go see Motorhead once.
Yes.
And it was just like, it was that kind of just percussion just coming through your entire body. And it was like that fairy tale legend is true.
That's cool.
Damn.
That's cool.
And it was just one of those moments where you can't even describe it. You have no words for it, and it's just like, wow, that just happened.
Yeah.
And here I am, and I got to witness this. So
audibly, you heard it live in the field, and then you had a recording going, but you didn't hear it live, or you did hear it while it was happening?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because it was so loud. Okay.
I was kind of spoiled because I had access to the property almost whenever I needed it or wanted it, and I would literally just go there and just listen to them.
That's amazing.
Damn.
That's wild.
And one of the other slides I'll show you real quick is the some of the data that I pulled from the audio recordings. But so as far as like trying to find a range or a habitat, definitely you want to find the water. So you definitely want to go to the water first. So where are your waterways? Just looking at that map, I mean, clearly Lake Erie's at the top, but the Ohio River is massive. It is huge. The reports that come out of Pennsylvania, there's a good percentage of them that follow the Ohio River.
Yeah.
All of it. And then you can see all the drains going down. So you get to that crook, that's where it is. It's outside of Portsmouth. That's the other Wayne National. So yeah, clearly Columbus is in the center. If you follow the one that kind of tracks 45 degrees southeast, that's Hocking. And that whole region, and then you go up a little bit, and then you've got the Mohican, the Kokosing, Muskingum, and the Licking that pull down there and going down. That whole corridor is absolutely phenomenal, but it also kind of makes sense for Cincinnati when you see your area over there.
Loveland, Mason, the Little Miami. That's crazy there.
Is it East Fork? East Fork. I've taken reports out of East Fork,
and that's the Brush Creek feeds into the Miami, and then look at the Scioto. The Scioto is crazy all the way down that big gash, all the way down. I mean, there's some beautiful areas. The Scioto, that's where all the earthworks are. Why wouldn't Bigfoot be traveling down if human beings were traveling up and down all those rivers?
That's one of those weird things I always wondered about, with the relationship between the tribes, especially up in Canada. They still talk about their relationships with the Sasquatches. And I always wondered if Ohio had that kind of relationship here. I heard a report once, but it was, I couldn't, validate it either way. It was like 5th, 10th hand, but... Yeah.
Like some of those old antiquarian journals from like the late 1700s of before the Smithsonian or any of those, you have to read. So one of them's called the Journal of the Orient. They're really weird, but it's like pre-archaeology. And you can find all these weird, strange stories. And I always wondered if you would pick through those old journals, if you would find any Sasquatch stories, or because a lot of those stories are them documenting Native American history and stories, and through before history got kind of weird in the 20th century and 19th century, I think a lot of the early stories were more real and not myth, especially here in America when you try to pull apart what Native Americans were in Ohio during. The further you go back, it gets real weird. Because the Dina, the Hopewell, those are all named after white guys. Like, we don't even know who those people were.
Right. So many mysteries, so many answers that we need. So why Ohio? We have topography, we have terrain, we have all this stuff. Soils and substrates. So going over to your neck of the woods over on the west side of the state, your rocks are dolomite and limestone. over here in the Hocking Hills in the eastern portion, we have sandstone, shale, tons of clay. Paths of least resistance. This is a huge one. Everyone says follow the waterways. I totally agree with follow the waterways. But what's gonna afford you the least amount of calorie consumption? Not working hard.
Well, and think about, beyond Sasquatch, all other animals use these paths just as much as we do, even though it's made for humans. You're going to see bears and sheep and goats and whatever else if you're out west, on the paths as well, or elk.
Power lines. It's big channels.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the easiest thing to follow.
Exactly. Waterways. We have tons of water down here. And weather, believe it or not. Totally got into the weather. Went to a Storm Chaser Summit last year.
Sweet.
I missed the one this year. Oh my gosh, those guys are phenomenal. And the guys and gals who were speaking, incredible. And I went to that because one of the things I noticed during this 5-year period was the weather really changed the behavior. Mm-hmm. It changed the entire dynamic from what I picked up on the recorders. Like anytime, and then if you pay attention to nature and the birds and the animals before a great big weather event, they start really getting animated. Everything will be out, and then right before like a big thunderstorm hits.
Wow.
Sasquatches would do the same thing. Before the and let me go back here. So, and then my very, very, very first report. Oh my gosh, February. Oh wait, you said down is up.
Sorry, down is advance on the clicker.
So I gotta go back to like the very beginning. So one of my very first reports, there was this huge ice storm that hit Ohio, southern Ohio. We'll go back to the nerd. There you go. Report came in. The gentleman was checking the railroad tracks, and he had his dog with him right along State Route 23. He pulled over to like the only rest stop between like Chillicothe. Oh wait, I guess Asheville and Portsmouth is the one in Piketon, which is actually Scioto County.
Right.
It was dangerous. It was stupid. Everything was under a level 3. I should not have been out driving, but curiosity kills cats. So what did I do? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't actually believe in Bigfoot back then. It was just funny. It was
wow.
Bigfoot was just it was interesting. I like being outside. I was open to the possibility of Bigfoot, but no. So then this report came in, and the call was, if anybody can get there, please go look at it. I'm like, okay. So I'm driving, and I get there, and this happened, I think, 2 years after Cliff Barrickman's London Trackway came out. And if you're familiar with the London Trackway, it was, oh my gosh, Cliff, if you hear this, don't be mad. I can't remember how, it was almost 100 tracks along a beach, and they casted every single one of them.
Shut up.
I mean, it was a monumental effort to get to London. The town was London.
London, Ohio, like outside of Columbus here. Right? No?
Oregon.
Oh, okay.
Oregon. But
on a beach.
Right.
I
was thinking lake. I'm thinking Ohio.
Oh, yeah, you could have thought Erie, I guess, but not London.
Yeah. London, Oregon. So that was my only exposure to actually seeing a track line of alleged Bigfoot prints. So I walk up on this, and this is the first photo I took right from the rest stop. And that's what I see looking out there. And that little wood line right there, past that wood line is another cornfield. And right in front of that hill, the distance, is the Scioto River.
Okay.
Okay. So waterway. You said this is a rest stop?
This is the Piketon rest stop.
I know exactly where you're at too. This is right before the exit where there's the subway, and Piketon's a little tiny town. I've worked there. I've done a little bit of video work in that area.
Oh.
And you literally blink and you could miss Piketon. So it's I know right where you're at. It's a beautiful area. Oh my gosh.
Because you have that nice big valley, and then you have the
so cool.
railroad tracks, 23, and then you have all the fields and that off in the distance. So so this was my very first, Bigfoot report.
Nice.
And this was a track line of 32 impressions. So there were actually 2 lines. There was one coming in from that tree line, and then there was one going back out. This was turned into a 2-day investigation. Because clearly I got there as the sun was setting, but absolutely it was surreal. Because sometimes if you're looking for snow tracks, some things that can mimic Bigfoot tracks are actually rabbits. If you give the freeze and the thaw, the rabbit can jump far enough that'll give you that kind of a distance, and they typically stay in a straight line.
Yeah.
So, but no.
Not know that.
It's kind of crazy. But now the storm had hit the night previous. I wasn't able to get there until like a day later. So the sun had already been out. There's the freeze and thaw that comes with the snow.
Sure.
And the ice on top of it. It was actually a hot mess. But one of the things that I did for my method here was based it off of Cliff's work, was document not just the individual track itself, which is the length, the ball, and then the heel, but also, fortunately, a step and then a stride. So the numbers that came off there for line number 1. So a step would be like a left foot to a right foot. So the average step in line 1 was 6.8 feet.
Okay. That's a pretty good spot.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Like a 7-foot stride.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
So,
for one step.
As there.
What?
One step.
Yeah.
And I love doing this with the adults and then the kids. They're hilarious.
Try to make the footprints.
You gotta jump really far.
Get out the tape measure.
Yeah.
Yep. So a stride would be like, it'd be 2 steps. So it would be like a left foot, right foot, left foot.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
So that's a stride. So the average stride for both of these lines was
Almost. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild.
14 feet.
Jeez.
14 feet.
So
That kind of rules out human.
right. So when you say line 1 and line 2, are these 2 creatures that are walking next to each other?
No. So where the rest stop is, there's the parking lot, and then there was a it was like I have to look at my report, like a 7-foot tall, 8-foot tall fence.
Okay.
Board fence, and then there was kind of like a water treatment stuff inside the fence. And that might actually have been like a dumpster back there too.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, where they hide dumpsters or, equipment behind, you know.
So where this this thing had walked was, it came from kind of like that big oak. It walked right up to the fence and then took a few steps and went straight back out.
I see what you're saying. So he kind of came in and then went this way.
Like it was going to go dumpster diving.
Right.
So use some note cards because clearly I destroyed the area because it was like, 3 steps of mine for one of its. And but using the note cards really helped kind of get that visual. So
Holy shnikes.
Yeah. So we labeled each one, took all the measurements, and actually it went down to the creek because there was a little ravine right there where that tiny little tree line was. And obviously the creek's frozen except for that portion, but there were nice big breaks in the ice where if I was trying to, tuck and roll, I'd have done the same thing. And then the highway patrol showed up because we had been another investigator came down with me and to help document this because this was big. And it was my first one. And
that's so cool.
Yeah, so we're out there for hours and it's like, 15 degrees and then highway patrol showed up and then people started shooting at the farm next door. So we decided it was probably time to go.
What?
Good time to get out, yeah.
Yeah, locals.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, so yeah. The Arc of the Appalachia in Ohio is an interesting place.
Oh, it's fantastic. So yeah. Water, weather, good things. Yeah, so that was some super, super good practice for what happened next. But yeah, we can, if you want to talk about this track here real quick.
Yeah, let's do it.
That'd be cool.
I'd be happy to. Let me grab it real quick.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Big time.
Yeah, this is literally the first time we've ever had a Bigfoot cast in Brozone.
You can pull that cord further. Yeah, you got slack on that. Look at that.
There you go, everybody.
I didn't bring a tape measure. Sorry.
Got one somewhere.
We've got one somewhere. Kyle might grab that, or I might grab it.
So this is one of my favorite casts because this is actually one of my very first Bigfoot casts.
That thing is huge.
It's not that big.
Are you kidding me?
Joking. I mean, it's only a size 37.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
Maybe. I don't know.
Double wide E.
Now, it looks like there's some leaves and debris that was maybe over top of the cast. Is that kind of what we're seeing here?
Yep. Actually, the picture that's up on the screen was me, and that was all that was to be seen from the photo.
Yeah.
So a gentleman was out morel hunting.
Oh, that's so much fun.
Right.
I love that.
Right. So it was right along a creek bed, and the creek's like right on the foreground there, that went up to a ravine, and then there was a field on the top. So he was down there, and found this while he was looking for mushrooms. It wasn't. I didn't have a whole lot of faith in it until I put some mud in it, and was so stoked when this came out. So yeah. Yeah, this was...
So what you're saying is the image there with what's holding the actual cast, the image itself of the imprint and the footprint itself wasn't super impressive, but you knew you had something. But when you made the cast, you were like, oh, hell yeah. Like, home run.
Yeah. I saw the toes, and I got educated because this was early in my Bigfooter career-ish, whatever. Don't put the tape measure over the actual impression ever. Actually, it was Dr. Meldrum who took me to school. He's a great teacher.
And why is that?
Because you can't see what you're looking at.
Fair enough.
So if on the picture, if you look at like number 11 and 12, that's actually where the great toe is.
So is that like left third of the picture?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see the imprint of where the great toe is for sure.
Yeah.
So now I can actually see the heel on the back end. Kind of, there's a stick in there.
You can see that stick.
Right.
It's almost curved to show the heel.
Yeah.
Right? Am I wrong?
Yeah. So it was in the ground like that.
100%. Yep.
So that's what you're looking at. And the walnut at the tip of the tape measure.
Funny.
Right there.
It's still there, folks.
And like I said, we just a little guy. It's only,
That's so cool.
3/4 of your arm.
I'm just saying.
That's amazing.
I'm just saying. So
look at that thing.
It's just one of my favorites. So yeah, April 24th, 2019. But one of the really cool things about this that I saw, and I don't know if you can see it, and it wasn't until cleaned it, washed it, let it dry, and then clean it up some more, that it was suspicious for something that we call dermal ridges or dermatoglyphs. And actually everyone has toe prints, just like fingerprints.
Right.
Sure.
And then I've had the good fortune of talking to a few folks who do like forensics, and really trying to at some point I need to actually take good photos of these casts and get them sent out to Cliff, because he has a guy now. I tried actually making latex. I had a friend come over and make some latex molds, and I screwed them up. So, yeah. I was trying to, I actually ended up getting 4 of the same foot. So I have actually 4 right feet, if that makes sense. And then took these up to go have, it was a surprise visit to go, it was at a speaking engagement. Dr. Meldrum and Cliff were at together. I mean, who better to inspect some
perfect
Bigfoot tracks than those two, especially together? They felt that they were all suspicious for having these dermal ridges. Are you familiar with the Grover Krantz? He felt that if we were able to get dermal ridges or a footprint with enough, the dermal ridges could actually help prove the species existed.
Sure.
I mean, we lock up murderers
dude.
for less.
Right.
So during the course of this investigation, it was that was one of my huge takeaways was, would it be possible that me, Bea Mills, might actually get lucky?
That's hilarious.
Oh, man.
And be able to help prove the existence of Bigfoot.
God, Rep
So,
Ohio, that's what's up. That's what I'm talking about.
That's amazing.
So there it is right there. Yeah.
So on the left, what are we looking at? Is that before like cleaning it?
Yep.
It's amazing because you can actually see the toes even better on the dirty one.
Right.
That is
feel like-
interesting.
Or at least I feel like I could. And here's the other thing too, like when you're looking for these prints, wherever the most weight is put into, so heel, ball of the foot, probably as much, but to get a full, it's usually some nice softer medium. The ground's a little wet almost to absorb that, because hard ground, I mean, they're not going to leave a footprint in hard ground. I mean, they might leave more of a like a ghost print, or like a stamp almost, but they're not going to put an imprint. So gotta have the right conditions to even get all that.
In Ohio, it's so hard. Our substrate's not great.
Yeah. Clay or
to get these. Yeah. Leaf litter.
Yeah.
Rocks. Whole 9 yards.
we have a lot of deciduous forest. I bet the pine forest are probably even worse.
Yeah, just don't.
Yeah.
If you do, good job.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. But yeah, no, so this was lucky.
It'd be very hard to see them even, right? The pine needles would obfuscate the, impression and everything even.
So spongy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So wild, dude.
So spongy. So yeah, that's the bad boy. So the half a track was, and that's actually the creek where it was during the daytime, because I had to go back and pull the casts in the morning and
You let them sit overnight. Oh, how long does it take to harden?
To be fair, probably only 35, 40 minutes. But it's still malleable enough. So you should never pull your casts up with your fingertips. Especially fresh, because the odds that your fingerprints will get in there are about 100%. So let it sit or dig it up and have that great big mud ball. So that
And just kind of wash it off.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Just let it sit and.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, you can wrap these in newspaper, anything to dry them. You just want them to dry for about a day or two.
Do you think there are people that are doing, say, casts or things like that where they just aren't doing their due diligence and they're going, "Oh my God, I found this," and you're like, "No." Have you had to break the news to people before? Like, that's not a cast of anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah. How do you try to be like, "Hey, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but let me tell you why." Well, I mean, again, you don't want to be
Burst
that
their
person that's
bubble.
like, "That's not a big name." What do you know? Oh, I'm trying to tell you and educate you, because if you're into it and you think you've got one, I want you to know what to look for, right? Or at least we have these kind of things, the dermal ridges or the dermoglyphs, and
Yeah, it's huge. And some people take it really well, and some people have never talked to me again.
I believe it.
They absolutely did not want to hear a word I had to say.
They want
Well,
it to be real.
Don't ask a question you don't want to hear the answer
No matter
to.
what.
Right.
Yeah.
And
You don't want to hear the answer. It's
I mean, Cliff had to do it to me.
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, and I kind of argued with him politely, and then he took me to school, and there it was. and he was spot on, and I had to eat crow. But hey.
But you know what? You've got your sight now reattuned to, I know what the horizon actually is. I don't think that looking up there equals, you've got your vantage point on straight. And that's the power in having that communication going, hey, I think it's this. I respect your opinion. But, it could get to a point too where you go, hey, you have the higher status, but I think I'm actually doing better work. I'm sure you've run into that too, where it's like, just because you have a name or a status, are you really doing the work? So we talk about this a lot with the level of passion to some things where it's undeniable. I mean, looking what you're doing, like, this isn't just a weekend. You do it once every now and then. Like, this is a pretty
avocation.
It's a hobby, enthusiasm, passion, project, alternate life.
It's fun.
It's awesome.
I'd be outside anyway.
Right. So why not do something with that time?
Right. Just, pour some plaster and things that look weird.
I mean, I'm with it.
Why not? So.
God, that's impressive.
Yeah.
I know, it's making me want to
the other
going out
plasters that we've seen in person was Dusty Ruth from BFRO, who's been at Jeff Wilson's summer solstice event.
Whoa.
And we've talked to Dusty a few times.
Are those photo prints right there, the footprints? Oh, wow. And then there's... Damn.
Excuse me.
Yeah, those are more. Wow. Yeah, so... yeah. So this was actually the site of the initial investigation back from 2016. The date on here is May 20th, 2019. One of the really cool things about this was, so the creek, that's kind of like a ravine. I call it the holler. It had 3 hollers to it.
Fair enough.
3 fingers in the holler. So this was finger 1 of the holler that went up to a cornfield. It had widened a little bit just through erosion. So I got the phone call. I went down there, went and checked it out, poured some mud in it. Actually followed the track line up the other side of the ravine, but there really wasn't anything to cast because you can look at the leaf litter and just how loamy it was, and everything was just destroyed. But I was super happy about those casts. So since I was there doing that, looking around, poking around, investigating, doing the whole 9 yards, I actually got to listen to this guy. So tracks, cast, and audio clip all within a few hours of each other. Do you want to hear this?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, are you kidding? Please.
Does Squatch shit in the woods?
I don't know how to hit play.
I think there you go. Kyle got it for you. What?
That's a frog.
Wow.
Have you had that analyzed? Or had anybody listen to it? Audio specialist, whoever, I don't know, forensic audiologist. I don't even know if that's a real thing, but did they pull it apart and try to look at the wave file?
Something about animals too, though.
Look at the frequency ranges, things like that. Did they come back with any answer?
No, I was doing my own audio by then, and I'll tell you why. Because there's actually if I can get back to the one screen, there's oh, thank you. So I want to go back. So I had a lot of questions. So on this investigation, I actually, what do you do to try to diffuse a aggressive cluster of Bigfoot who are really angry at the new property owners? Well,
Bring them snacks.
insert Bea Mills and peace, love, and happiness. I guess.
Yes.
So I took a really passive approach.
Sure.
The audio, the vocalizations were what the family was talking about, in addition to having things thrown at their house. Of course, shooting high rifle, high caliber firearms into the woods probably, create a little animosity between the two groups.
I would imagine.
So I wasn't getting in the middle of that, but I figured, why not start a long duration recording project? So Bea Mills, who knows absolutely nothing about long duration recording absolutely nothing, had a lot to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And I am a nerd, so I love learning things. So one of the very first audio clips that the witness showed at the initial investigation, I did have sent out. And what was really fascinating, he did a comparison with Matt Moneymaker's 1994 Ohio Howl. And the results, so what we're looking at here is a spectrogram on the software program Audacity, which is a very popular program. I don't use it, but it's free. You can download it, and then you get all sorts of crazy. You can do all sorts of things. But there are certain parameters that you look for what would be considered a North American Sasquatch.
Okay.
And that's what they call it, the North American Sasquatch. And a lot of it, you see the difference in the hertz as opposed to the oh shoot, I just blanked. Hertz and frequency, I'm sorry. So there is a formula to use. And then the spectrogram's kind of like cheating. So when you see those, great big swooshes, and then different vocalizations have like, Nike swoops or,
Sure.
wood knocks. They hit different, than like ballistics from a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Even though through a recorder they might sound similar. You run them through the software and you'll be able to discern each one from the other. So anyway, had this sent out, and this was over years, learning how to do this and getting to where I could hone in, putting all the three pieces together. But
Stoner can hit play for you.
You want to hear it? Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. There we go. Thanks, Stoner. You can hear some dogs in the background.
So from that,
Wow.
So those were looped in threes.
mm-hmm.
So you could hear it 3 times. And that's just how the author who broke down this piece. So the first section you heard was the Matt Moneymaker howl. The second section you heard that was a little quieter with the barred owl in the beginning. That was my howl. He took those and ran them through the spectrogram here and marched them out. And he confirmed that it met all the parameters as a North American Sasquatch.
Nice.
Wow.
Which was,
Killer.
absolutely fantastic.
That's wild.
Then, while we're at it, I do have one more audio clip
Yeah,
I would love to share with you.
please do.
Because this was one of those defining moments where it was just kind of like, I think you might actually have a Sasquatch on your property, and you're not just crazy.
Jesus.
Wow. What did it feel like to tell that person that news? 'Cause so many people want to just be like, just tell me I'm not crazy. Like, I know I'm hearing things. I know I'm seeing things. Do they light up?
In this case, it was a strange reaction. It was one of the, I know, I told you.
Yeah.
But most people who do have that question, just give me any answer. Just, am I crazy?
Sure.
And you put together. It's kind of like you read back, verbalize back what they told you, and say, "This is what you're telling me. This actually makes sense. It is plausible that could be what you're dealing with." But some people are just crazy.
True.
No doubt.
So I don't know if that one audio clip I sent you guys was available.
I think, Kyle, we plugged it into the slide, actually.
Oh,
I think
you did?
Yeah, I think he did
Well, let's go
make
get
that
it.
work.
Yeah. So long duration recordings actually super fun. And you can start with something just as simple as a little $30 recorder.
Yeah.
And just hang it outside and get to know your animals.
Saw your little Tascam you had in one of those. We've been using Tascam and some of that gear for a long time.
I really like, the DRO5 is fantastic. I'm going the wrong way. I actually use right. So I switched to an Olympus DM620. Because my field tests on it, another investigator, he actually hooked up a slave to it. So he has an external 2 D cell batteries that is linked to one dummy AAA.
Mm-hmm.
So it literally runs off of 2 D cell batteries, one AAA. And my best field trial out of it, I got almost 78 days. 74, 78 days without changing the batteries.
Incredible.
So the only thing I had to do was go change the SD card when the card filled up.
Exactly.
So, that's a ton of work. But,
set it and forget it.
Well, the nice thing about it is even something as hokey as that. Seriously, that's not. But hey, that's a waterproof case from Walmart that was like on clearance for $5. Right. Drilled a hole, put some external mics out, hung it from a tree. Yeah, that's a rock because I had to throw the rope over the tree limb. Okay.
That's great.
It is horrific.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
Bea Mills.
Ingenuity.
Yeah. But then it just becomes a part of the environment. You don't have to go keep disturbing the area, except every 28 days. And, oops. Fantastic. Oh, yeah. Here
Don't
we
go that way.
Wrong way again.
Nuh-uh.
No?
We have to go forward. Yeah, my presentation's like not.
This we saw.
Yeah.
It's this one.
There, okay.
The Bruno, West Virginia howl?
Yeah, we can play that in a second.
Sure.
This is the track line. Anyway.
Nice.
I just wanted to play the audio since we're talking about audio.
I think it's pretty deep into the presentation.
Figures with my...
There it is. That was it.
Oh, yeah, the original gangster.
Yeah, OG.
Yeah. So this one was sent to the East Coast.
Okay.
And this one's loud and in charge.
Whoa.
Yeah. Isn't that pretty?
Well, it's not a dog because when they kind of yodel, I guess you could say, I don't know, they do it with their mouth. This thing's doing it with its throat. You can hear it in the throat. That's why I'm like, kind of sounds like when Rolo at noon, when the tornado sirens go off, or my old dog Summer would just, she would get going and howling like that. It's on the borderline of sounding kind of like that, but then you're like, no, it's here.
Yeah, a beagle can make over 60 calls.
They can make a lot of different sounds. Yeah, my old dog was part English pointer, part beagle. She had all hunting dog. So, wow, that's interesting. Yeah, it's not a dog. It's definitely not.
So apparently the yodel at the end, that's very typical of the West Coast.
Okay.
Not East Coast. Which I thought was interesting.
A little pickup of character traits maybe, or sharing of traits?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Wow.
I had the West Coasters listen to it, and they were like, hey.
That's our thing.
I was like, no, that's Ohio.
When did you record that one?
That actually was recorded by the witness.
Okay, wow.
So that actually was, and that was recorded on a cell phone.
Oh, wow.
Through a window from the witness's bedroom.
What?
No joke.
Oh my God. That's
No
how
joke.
loud that
That's loud as shit. Then. Yeah.
And it was one of those like 1960s homes, solid brick.
Yeah.
The place was a fortress.
The lung capacity you would have to, the diaphragm you'd have to project that kind of sound.
Oh my gosh.
Is unreal. That's a big animal. It has to be.
And then just imagine listening to it firsthand.
Oh, dude, I got the chills right now just thinking about that person in the cabin.
That would be wild.
All alone.
I feel like John Candy in The Great Outdoors, just the walls shaking and shit falling out of the cupboards and shit, plates breaking
big
and
bald
dishes
bears
crashing.
getting ready to come through the wall.
Yeah. That's all I can think of is like I would just be in that cabin, like just eyes like wide open, like dinner plates.
Here comes Dan Aykroyd.
Oh. So,
do they get asked if they're brothers a lot? I gotta know. Ever?
Wow.
They both have similar beards, even their smile, and I love it.
A lot of Bigfooters have beards, though.
No, I'm just saying they don't. Not just the beard, like they're fairly close.
I guess I've never actually looked at it from that point of view.
I thought that the first time I saw it, I was like, man, they kind of look.
You are not wrong.
Right? Doppelgangers.
Now, are these prints that each of them have captured themselves, and then you guys kind of came together with your print? They had their own prints, or is this all from one investigation you did together?
Those are all mine.
All yours.
Those are all your prints?
Wow.
Holy smokes.
Look how big the one Cliff's holding is.
I have about 40 casts.
Wow. Damn.
And
friend, you're killing it.
Terabyte of audio data.
That's amazing.
I know. Nerd.
I love your nerd abilities.
Nerd. I have to go the other way. Sorry. So yeah. So that was the final product. Those are the four right feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned that earlier.
And that's my project, probably for eternity. I really have to get back to Cliff on that, but I'm trying to see if there's any way to pull off enough dermal ridge data to be able to put together to make like
Start building profiles.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
database.
Tracking them.
If there is any possible way to come up with even one whole toe print, I will just be the happiest girl on the planet.
Yeah.
Because
what you know what it reminds me of? Sorry to interrupt, but just the early days of like people trying to catch serial killers.
100%.
Where there's no data, no one's sharing any information. They're tracking footprints. I mean, what serial killer was it that had the white tennis shoes, the Avias?
No idea. I'm not that well versed.
That's how they caught him, was his footprint. And he had this white Avia, and they tracked that all the way through the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez. So, there was zero sharing any, like the Green River Killer and a lot of those guys, they had like 35, 40, because nobody was sharing any information. They had them 3 or 4 times in different counties. So again, if you're building a profile like that, I mean, you're like the early, like the FBI profiling Bigfoot. It's what it seems like.
Chasing fairy tales.
Yeah.
There's just no resources. There are, but there's not like I can't just look up every profile of this killer did this or this killer did that, like he's saying, like,
and scanning them with high quality images, feeding that into computer programs.
Right. I mean, I look at these things that I did and, during the process and ask myself, what am I going to be? What am I going to be mad I didn't do 10 years from now?
Okay.
What? And that's how I do my, investigations, my documentation, even just going out for a hike, what do I need to notice? What do I need to look for? And, when that happened, because I've been on that property for like 3.5 years, nothing but audio. And you know what? People were getting tired of the audio. They said, where are they? I said, I don't know. And part of it was private property, and I wasn't trespassing on it. So
I'm not getting shot.
No.
Right.
Not intentionally.
No, because yes, they shoot a lot. And no, peace, love, and happiness does not need to end up on the news. Oops, wrong way. So, but yeah, so all the documentation, and I was really thankful, and that's why I showed you the track line from Piketon.
Yeah.
Because that was in 2014. So in 2019, then that cast right there shows up, or that track. What happened after that, hang on. I really wasn't prepared for. So the holler had no game, no deer, no nothing. It had maybe a squirrel. There was no animals left in the holler. And but there were raccoons, by golly.
Oh, I bet.
He's so cute.
He's just going ham. He's like, I'm going to stretch.
It's always at that one part of the episode, Rollo.
Rollo's like mid-show, just scratching himself on the carpet. He's a good boy.
So fun.
Sorry to interrupt, Rollo. Where were we?
Good boy.
Yeah, so the Piketon.
Oh, yeah. So that was my
Prince.
exposure doing a track line and documenting a track line. We didn't cast that because it was in the snow. But at least I felt more comfortable on how to at least track it. I had plenty of practice mixing plaster, pouring plaster for a former acquaintance who sold them. And I was in a big car accident in 2017. So I really wasn't doing much of anything, and said, hey, you want to make me some casts? And I said, yeah, sure, whatever. I'm not doing anything anyways. So I got really good at mixing plaster and pouring plaster.
Cool.
So all these, practice, because here we go.
Wow.
There it is. July 28th, 2019. I get a phone call. Property owner was down checking traps, raccoon traps, and stopped down by this creek. And, well, what he saw changed my life. I get a phone call, get down here.
That's crazy.
That's humongous.
Wow.
So if you can just cut his face out, or maybe no one will notice. I'm sorry. So sent me a photo. Boom, boom, boom. I was like, I'm on the way. This turned into, sketches, drawings. Actually, they recreated the Bluffs Creek site off of the Hendon sketches. So always take a notepad, piece of paper, sketch, whatever you have to do.
Right.
So that's what the track line looked on paper. No, it's not pretty, but that's what I had. Take notes. And we actually had to, let me go back real quick. So, it started off by the tree that's on the left. There was a beech tree, and then there were, 3 tracks, and then one was in the water. It was fresh. It was beautiful, but it was in the middle of the creek. And then there were another 4 on the opposing sandbar, went back across the creek, and then there were 3.5 going up into the hillside, which was forested. And then we had to scout around and do some tracking to pick up the rest of the trail. But what we found on the other side of that down tree, so it was almost making a circle, doubling back on it.
Right.
Was absolutely phenomenal, because what was up there were the mud tracks. So did we cast everything? Yes, we casted everything. We were able to pull hair samples out of the very first track by the tree. There were deer hair. There were 3 sets of deer tracks. By the time the deer track stopped in the middle on the bank, there were no more, but there were two. And so what was interesting was, so the mud track and then the mud track that are up on the top of that scribble, there's the two lines. They look like huge scrapes.
Wow.
And then that thing with the bullseye right there was a sample that I took from a tree limb. And then the two things that look kind of like boobs, yeah, that's actually a barbed wire fence, and we were able to get more samples from that. It was my suspicion that the Sasquatch was near or behind that tree, watching the deer in the creek, nabbed one of the deer,
Ganked it.
Took off.
You said the scratch marks. It made me think of its hooves being dragged or whatever,
It's exactly what it looked like.
Wow, he got jacked, bro.
Exactly what it looked like.
So he's just sitting there like an ambush situation.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That
shows intelligence.
It was impressive.
Lots of intelligence there. Wow.
So as far as forensics go, no, we're not wearing gloves. But no, don't touch the sample. Put it in a paper bag. So we used a stick and a paper bag, which is rough, but still legit. So why don't you use plastic baggies? Because of moisture, condensation, bacteria, and eventual mold. So
yeah, paper bag would make sense. That's kind of breathes a little bit more.
Yeah, time spent in the ER. All our murder victims get paper bags.
Wow.
Yeah, so that casting went on. I had to be at work at 5 o'clock in the morning. And yes, that's a bucket with a power tool and a mortar mixer. Because that's just how this was going.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's the hot mess.
Unbelievable.
So everything was casted because just for the documentation purposes. The two at the bottom, the lighter colored ones, those are the ones that were in mud. So that is the two mud tracks, and then the one on the far left, that's the one that I showed you from April.
That's this guy right here.
Yep.
In front of us.
Yep. So that's what we're looking at.
Wow.
So all the same foot, grossly all the same size.
Look at the middle one, the toe prints, how perfect those are.
Oh, that one's...
They have 4 toes? Am I just seeing this incorrectly?
No.
There's a 5th toe?
The middle track is the one that has the thing closest to a 5th toe.
Right.
But the 5th toe has not been definitive in any of these casts.
Yeah.
Which is another clue as far as us thinking that it may be the same individual.
Yeah.
And worthy of trying to pull the derms off, because all 3 of those have suspected derms.
Wow.
So it didn't just stop there, because why would it? Don't stop. Keep going. Keep going.
Right.
Due diligence.
When you find your first track, that's probably just like you're hooked. You find another track, you get another audio recording. It's like, oh, I could keep going. You probably just, I could see how that gets.
I didn't sleep.
I bet.
I was
so amped.
Yeah, and it was emotional.
Wow.
It was emotional because it's like, hey, no pressure. Hey, B, don't screw this up.
Oh my God, I bet.
Hey, B, I had a code name. My code name was Ghost. Nobody even knew, because I was trying to like keep the property off the radar.
Right.
People were hounding the family, trying to get access to their property.
Wow.
People were trespassing. It got leaked out.
Yeah. Through social media or something?
Oh, no, just nosy people.
Wow.
Just word of mouth.
Travels through the holler quickly.
Well, it's like back home.
News. Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Word of mouth is faster than social media.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That if it was social media, somebody would have got shot. Because you would have had somebody out there really...
Right.
being
incredible.
And to preserve the integrity of the investigation, you know, just trying to keep it on the down low. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Could imagine. That's so much pressure.
Yeah. And then it was like, because after the April, that track came out, all the eyes are on me now. And then with the vocalizations over the last several years and like finally struck gold because, it's like, hey, where are the tracks? Where's your evidence? And it's like, you can't just make this stuff out.
Yeah.
I mean, no. So the fact that actually something was happening, something's coming together.
Well, you can make it up if you're P.T. Barnum or some snake oil salesman that's trying to pull one over and become famous, which God knows there's probably tons of those guys just in our state alone.
Oh, yeah. There's, yes, there are. So the 31st, 3 days later, went out and found 2 more tracks. One of them was absolutely gorgeous. And there's all 4 of them. All 4 of them right there. Phenomenal.
Incredible, B.
Yeah.
Bravo.
It's kind of cool.
You knocked it out of the park.
One of the kind of cool things about this was, so pop quiz. How many tracks were cast in the Patterson-Gimlin site?
61.
No.
Less?
0?
I say 0 because I have no idea.
0?
I have no idea on that.
I don't know.
Did
they? Yeah, maybe they didn't.
No, actually, the film footage, the classic Patty.
Right.
So she actually did leave tracks.
Yeah.
I believe it, but you said how many did they cast? And I said 0 because I don't know if they cast any, but I know that they filmed it.
They did. Well, actually, yes, Bob Titmus showed up and he did the casting. And they had 12. I think 12. I'm almost
Where did
positive
I
it
get
was 12.
61 from?
Probably
You
from
are
the London
going
track.
back to the front. You're going.
That was, what's his? Cliffs?
Yeah, that was Cliff. So, funny story. Love
London,
it.
Oregon.
So, Patty holds the record as the longest trackway casted from 1967. And then you got, what's that? Yeah, there's Bea Mills. I have 14.
Wow.
Nice.
I beat him.
Oh, yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah. I didn't even realize that till some very, very high ranking Bigfoot
Was like, do you know what you've done here?
Yeah, that's exactly how that went.
Wow.
I was like, do you realize you just made history? And I was like, what? He goes, yeah, you beat Bob Titmus. I'm like, get out.
That's super rad.
Oh my gosh.
So you're in the Bigfooter Hall of Fame.
That did get to the Bigfoot Times. Daniel Perez, who has a monthly newsletter he puts out, and he has awarded a recipient the Bigfooter of the Year, and since 27 years now.
Wow.
So I would actually be the first female.
That's dope.
Go girls.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We got
Hell yeah.
this.
Yeah.
And,
Girl power.
the second Ohioan to Mr. Don Keating.
Oh,
Nice.
damn. Don Keating.
Yep.
How about that?
So, yeah.
Legend.
Pretty cool. So there was one controversy I had to clear up since I had 4 years worth of audio data almost every night for 4 years. So there's an East Coast, West Coast thing. Kind of like,
Like Biggie and Tupac.
That's right. Yeah. So I'm from Ohio, so nothing makes sense here. So
Midwest.
right,
What's up?
represent. So the theory goes during the full moon. I know, during the full moon on the East Coast, there is no Bigfoot activity. But during the full moon on the West Coast, game on. So I live in Ohio, nothing's fair. So I had 4 years worth of full moons. So that's what these pie charts are.
Okay.
and I kind of labeled them, and I just wanted to see who was right.
Yeah, sure.
Because I could almost set a clock to these Sasquatches after a while. Weather played a big role. So the results of these really fancy looking muted gray pie charts are Bigfoot does not care. Honey badger don't give a shit.
No, he don't. Honey badger don't give a damn.
The only interesting thing was in 2016 and 2019, there were no full moons or new moons. There were no new moons.
How does that happen?
Well, you were out in the field.
Well, the recorder would keep going, whether I was out there or not. I just threw it in the woods and left it.
Okay.
Wait. You said there were no new moons?
There were no vocalizations during new moons.
During new moons. Got it.
Oh, I see what you're saying now. Okay. I was like, okay, that sounds even crazy.
You know what?
New moons are...
So then that would make the East Coast theory wrong.
Wow.
I think we just had a moment.
Wow.
I'm going to need you to break down what we just discovered. What happened? Do you find? Are you with me?
That's even if I can read this. So if my charts are correct.
Okay.
And the black represents the new moon, which I'm pretty sure it does.
Okay.
And Stoner, if I'm totally wrong, just
Kyle, can you give us
edit all this out.
Temp check on whether we're at the right those slices mean? Okay.
There you go. So that the East Coast theory would be if there is all the activity during new moons.
Okay.
And I have nothing to represent the new moon for 2 years.
Wow.
So honey badger really don't care, and the East Coast theory is wrong. West Coast wins.
Hey.
Wow, we just settled that right here.
There we go.
On the Strange
Bam.
Road podcast.
There we go.
Wow.
We like to break down barriers.
Wow.
Yeah, we do. We like to share information. That's one of the things we try to do here.
So according to my data, your odds of hearing a Sasquatch yell are more likely when the moon's out.
Yeah, new moons is always that weird. We had an astrologer, Ksenia Moore, on, and she had some interesting messages about, we talked about new moons, full moons, and there's always weird energy on new moons. What her data says is new moon is always kind of this strange, point in time throughout each month.
Well, they
maybe they're hanging out.
I don't know.
And not doing a lot.
They kind of think the theory behind that is that there's too much light. They'll be seen.
Right.
I don't think.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it really is. You got a full moon out. It's like there's a night light on the entire night. You can see anything, especially once your eyes adjust.
Right.
It's interesting. And it would make sense that, so you're saying that they don't care if it's a full moon or a new moon?
Oh, no. They don't care at all.
They're still going out. They're like, screw it, this is my land.
Yeah.
And that's interesting, too. You got to, I think you said it earlier, too, kind of like, are they alongside us in society? Like, they've known about us. The Native Americans, were they, the Canadian.
They used to be in more contact with each other in ancient times.
But did they watch us as society, start making guns and bombs and stuff? And they were like, no, that ain't my thing. I'm going to keep tracking out here, and I'm big enough that I can handle myself,
I would like to think so.
Yeah.
We smell funny. We wear funny clothes. We got kind of weird. We don't have hair.
True.
But
we have technology, and if we ever want to wield technology to really sniff them out, I'm thinking drones with infrared and LiDAR and this and that. You could just send swarms out, thousands, hundreds of thousands of drones.
Well, that's where the technology is going now. And
100%.
With this private expeditions about with the drone pilots. So I think it'll be interesting because
really going to peel the layers off.
Yeah, well, it's like the technology's there, but what there's so many variables,
Sure.
Besides the weather,
100%.
The cover, the canopy,
But with a
But
drone,
that, same
are
with
you
LiDAR,
able to
you could just rip that away.
penetrate the canopy? Now, if you had those FPV drones that can go dip below the canopy and can fly through the trees.
No, why can't you do that with LiDAR?
Those are crazy. Well, LiDAR's more of a mapping tool than it is.
But that strips away all of the undergrowth. It just takes the actual...
Well, it pieces together data.
I don't know if you could actually hit a biological signature
you
with
basically
it to
scan
pick
it.
up.
It's not a camera in the sense of like capturing
It's lasers,
something,
right?
but it's just scanning it. It's like scanning a photo, basically. And then it creates an image based off of a scan. So you got to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
I get that. I'm just saying, I don't know that it'd even pick up a biologic signature.
Exactly.
Like, when they do
It's
that,
all
what
for
they're doing is, like you're saying, it's basically
Maybe
scanning,
footprints,
but
It
it's
might pick up
scanning with
footprints,
lasers.
though.
Yeah. That it could do.
Yeah, for sure. LiDAR would
That
pick
you
up
could actually use
footprints.
LiDAR and sweep over and be like, oh, we know where they're going. We can actually see their highway of footprints. That would be the fastest way.
on river bends and stuff.
If you could
Yeah.
find soft ground, this and that,
Yeah.
be like, oh, this is, rainy season here, etc.
So a report came in
Yeah.
during the festival last year. A friend of mine has been to follow up on, and we're actually getting a hold of a LiDAR to go find a alleged kill site
Oh, wow.
What do you mean? Kill site of?
Like a deer.
where a group of young men, boys, were playing in a creek and found a dead Bigfoot.
Oh, that kind of a kill
Stop.
site. Damn.
Really? Why is it called a kill site?
I don't know. I couldn't think of a better word. Is it
Fair enough.
dead site?
Oh, fair enough. I'm just trying to get context. Like kill site, I'm thinking I've heard stories
deer.
of hunters
Yeah.
being out hunting and they end up shooting and killing a Sasquatch. And they're like, it freaked me out because it looked like a human enough that I thought, oh God, I've committed manslaughter.
Right.
And now I'm burying this thing and I'm not telling anybody.
Right.
But it was on like Sasquatch Chronicles or something. And this guy was like, I will bring you out there and show. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
what? So we talked about this earlier, right? I used the analogy of the movie Lake Placid where I told you like Betty White's feeding that giant crocodile. And they're like, you knew about this? And she's like, of course. I didn't want to tell you you'd kill the crocodile.
Yeah, Betty White's pet.
So how many people or families or cultures know and have insight into deeper knowledge base, right? Like maybe we're just scratching the surface. We're piecing this together and there's literally people like, yeah, we've known about this for generations at our family's
And they do.
house in the middle of nowhere or this or that, like where it's like Harry and the Hendersons. Like I'm not in that way of like, hey buddy, come in and hang out on the couch with us. Oh, Sasquatch, you broke a spring.
They do. In southern
You know,
Oklahoma, there's that family on the border of Oklahoma and Texas where for years they've been communicating with these things and bringing them in. And supposedly, we met somebody through Tom and Terry that's a Bigfoot researcher. And I think she was invited to that property. But, you kind of sit around the campfire and they build a relationship with this family, with this group.
I'd like to think that I'd
And
be
they
cool with
come in
Sasquatch.
and they kind of just hang out on the outskirts of the forest, but they'll come out and they're not going to come and sit with you around the fire, but they're close enough to where they're there from what I understand. But I think there are people out there that are secretly have relationships with these things and are buttoned up.
Well, to be fair, I
Absolutely.
probably wouldn't say anything
I wouldn't
either.
say nothing.
Absolutely. No, what you want to have a bunch of people in white weird bunny suits coming around your
Right.
house and setting up the ET tent and
Right.
serious
Yeah. This is the
tasing you.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wind up in Guantanamo getting,
ET
watching
such a
Barney
sad
24 hours a day until they break you and they find out where the Squatch are. Like, no, I'm telling you, I think there's a majority probably never say anything.
Yeah.
What's it going to get them? Put it this way. It's like, okay, the Grand Canyon. You can share that. Hey, everybody, there's a Grand Canyon out there. Go look at it. This is different. This is now like, what are the repercussions if I share this?
Well, I think they've known about it. I think the government's well aware that these creatures are out there. There's no way they
That's
don't.
a fair assumption, sure.
I mean,
They'd be pretty
look
tuned
at
in.
all of the advanced helicopters and the FLIR and all the different camera systems that they have. You're telling me there's not been military? I mean, we've
FLIR,
seen military.
that's the one I was saying. If they had FLIR over the...
That's what you were thinking.
That's what I meant, not LiDAR, FLIR.
We've
But
been
if they had FLIR
in
over the
southern
jungles
Ohio.
and-
Yeah, they're in the drones.
We've been in southern
pick up
Ohio
life form.
and seeing black helicopters flying around out on this property where we were camping out at. And then at night it came back and literally in a pattern started scanning with this huge light on the ground on this hill where we always thought there was weird shit going on. There was like ancient ruins out there or something. There's something about that area that's weird. And we found an old atlas from 1903 where this guy from Ohio mapped all the ancient structures in Ohio. And we overlaid it with where that creek was and everything. And there's that guy mapped, there's temples there. So we had always thought there was something out there in this one part of this property. And then all of a sudden, here you go. A couple months later, we're out there again. And a black helicopter's flying out there right in that area. And then at night, it came back with its light on. Out there looking for something in the dark.
Rollo, stay down.
How'd that make you feel?
Come here.
Freaked out. Concerned.
Well, yeah.
I mean, you have those kind of reports. I mean, the moral of the story always goes back to every strange road leads back to Ohio. And it really does seem like
Ohio's strange.
Yeah, we have a lot of history.
Yeah.
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 Wow.
I know.
Well, I can tell you that we're getting close to the end of the episode when Rollo is constantly up and down. And
He's either wants a lap. I'll tell you what, he either wants a lap or he's got to go outside.
Yeah, for sure. And this has been incredible. We've had such a good time, B. Like, literally, you are welcome back.
Can we do this again sometime?
To the Strange Road.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you for showing all this information too. I mean, the evidence, the photographs, we literally have a cast.
I was going to say, you brought receipts.
You brought
receipts. It all.
We appreciate that so very much. But we would love to let everybody know where we can find you, where we can connect with you. Tell us about the conference and festival coming up. The book, by the way, Bigfoot Methodology of Madness, guys. Check it out. And let us know where everybody can connect.
Oh, yeah, thanks. Yeah, so the book's, it's basically my methods on my investigations, where to start, because I started as an absolute skeptic. And I was the doubting Thomas until I saw it. And I absolutely not. It was just, I just like going random night walks with people in the middle of nowhere. And then, oops. And so, yeah, then I had to know more. So, how did I get to where I am? It's in the book. And it covers the investigation that awarded me the 2019 Bigfooter of the Year award.
That's awesome.
So thank you. It was a lot of work. I was very honored. Very honored. So you can find me at beoutdoors.org. I have a YouTube page because apparently that's what popular people do. And there's nothing on it, but you'll see my silly mug waving at you. The Hocking Hills Bigfoot Festival is on August 2nd and 3rd in downtown Logan, Ohio, in the heart of the Hocking Hills, Ohio's home of Bigfoot. And we have a VIP dinner on Thursday at the new Hocking Hills Lodge. And then speakers will be on Saturday, and we're just going to have a blast. I'm so excited for it. I'll be also speaking at the West Virginia Bigfoot Festival in Sutton at the end of June. So that'll be fun. And other than that, just keep working on these investigations, trying to just get more evidence and data and go hug some trees.
Nice.
Yeah, buddy. There we go, guys. Again, we appreciate you so much, and it was awesome meeting you at Frogman Fest last year. I'm so glad we're doing this. We were able to get this done, and like I said, you're welcome back anytime. Guys, go get the book. Go check out Bea. Go connect. She's all over social media, and you know what? This has been great. You can find us at The Strange Road on all the social media platforms. Make sure you hit that like button, hit the notification bell, and subscribe. Share this episode if you like. And also, much love to Stoner the Loner tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Master Control.
Kicking
Stoner,
butt.
always crushing it. And we got, of course, Rollo. And
search for Sasquatch safely. and responsibly, and don't trespass. If you want to go out there and do it, cool, but don't be a dick, right?
Right.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a jerk.
Straight up.
And if people are having activity on their house, like, don't bum rush them. Like, don't do things like that. Like, just be cool.
Just be cool.
Right.
Yep.
And that's my 2 cents.
That's right. And guys, check out the Discord server is rocking and rolling. The Facebook group's rocking and rolling. It's a great place to connect with all the other people that are into the strange, into weird stuff. We are absolutely, we got new people joining all those every week. So much love to all them and everybody listening out there in Spotify, Apple. We appreciate the heck out of each and every one of you guys.
We love our fans.
We do. And we're going to keep this train moving forward. We're signing out. Peace, love, and chicken grease.
Later, y'all. Night.
See ya.